friends, it's Ellen here at Yarn Doc, and I am bringing you another yarn review. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, hi old friend. I'm starting with a confession. I had thought I had made an intro video to this yarn review, and I went ahead and I made my samples for the washer and dryer, and I washed them, and I made my finish object, and I filmed my conclusions and everything, and I went to put it together into a video, and I had no introduction. So I am here with the rest of the yarn and the ball band to say today I am going to explore Yarn Art's Flower Merino. This yarn has been around for a while. There are several different variations on it. There's Yarn Art's Flowers Moonlight. There's Yarn Art's Flowers Alpaca. I may end up doing more of these reviews of the various kinds of flowers. But I'm starting with the Merino because I was using it for a project, and oh, now the yarn's fallen off. Okay, fine, good. This is a Turkish yarn. Yarn Art brand is very popular here in Europe, but I think it is becoming more readily available in the US and maybe also in Australia, that underworld area down there. Hi, friends. I see you. I see you down there. Let me know, because it's hard to know what's accessible where, but they call it a lightweight 3, and I think that's pretty accurate. It is 25% wool and 75% acrylic. And I'm assuming that it's merino wool, though it doesn't say that, okay? In the skein, it felt very soft. And if I was doing this introduction, as a true introduction, I would tell you, it feels very soft, it feels very bouncy like you would get from wool. Stay tuned, friends. Stay tuned. It says wash at 30, light flat to dry. So it does. Oh, it even says in English, machine washable, dry flat, do not bleach. And yeah, so that's gotta mean that merino is superwash. Stay tuned. We have a washer and dryer test coming up. And then they are recommending 4.5 millimeter knitting needles and a 5 millimeter crochet hook. I use something significantly bigger, but as I've mentioned many times, I tend to have tight tension. I don't know why. I used to have super tight tension where I'd actually have to be shoving my hook in. I don't do it that tightly anymore, but I am always way up in hook size compared to recommendations or what others do. Did I say it was made in Turkey? It's made in Turkey if I didn't. It's 225 grams for 590 meters. I am making a triangle scarf in the German shell stitch, also known as the virus, but I don't like that name. So I stick with the original, the German shell, especially being here in Germany. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that is the information about the yarn. Oh, the color I bought is 552. Has yellow tones in it. Going from pale looking almost white, but it's not. It really is a pale yellow, to the dark mustard that you can see in there. Sorry about the cake. I used it, and I will show it to you. Okay, so this time of year is going to be challenging as far as light and shadows. Bear with me here. So I have done something a little different if you've seen my other reviews. Usually I show you all three before I have washed and dried them. But somebody pointed out to me that because I leave a square just as is without washing or drying, I don't really need to measure everything before it goes in. So, very smart. We can cut that step out. Less time for you to watch. And so this one is the one that was just as is, hot off the hook, so to speak. This one has gone through the washer and been blocked, and this one has gone through the washer and the dryer. Now, I do use my wool setting for anything handmade, and I do use wool wash, again, for all of my handmaids. So that is one concession that I do make, but I just throw the dryer in the regular dryer so that it's an accurate depiction of what will happen. You can see, oh, that's upside down where you can't see. I'm holding the camera because that was the only way I would not get shadow on. But okay, so the original is 10 centimeters. And move this over here without getting you seasick. At least that's the plan. You can see in the washer, whoops, come over to the line. There was no shrinkage. It's 10 centimeters. But on the dryer, I think we do have a little bit of shrinkage. Yeah, about 1/2 centimeter. So on a small square, it doesn't seem like much, but if you were doing, say, a sweater, and for every 10 centimeters you lost 1/2 centimeter, you're going to end up down a size on your sweater. So something to keep in mind. And the feel, there's no difference in how these feel. I think actually the softest one is, sorry, I can see that I've got shadows from my fingers. I'm really sorry. It's winter, and I've got to figure out the light situation. But there really is no difference in feel, even wash, dryer. This one might be slightly softer, but if I took those stitch markers off, I'm not sure that I would be able to really detect a difference. I'll come in close here and try and keep, so you can see it has okay stitch definition on this one that, sorry, I'm getting you drunk. You didn't even have to do the drinking. It has okay stitch definition on this one that is hot off the hook. We didn't really lose anything in the washing and blocking, but we didn't really gain anything either. And then over here, did we maybe lose a little? Let's put them right side by side. Oh, I look like I have the shakes. I don't, I promise. Maybe a little. Maybe a little. And that's probably just due to the shrinking so that it has less space, so less definition. So yeah, that's how it washed and dried. Kind of what you might expect. So this is really not my color. Okay, let me start by saying that. This is not a good color on me. Yellow tends to make me look like I'm a little bit ill, and I actually am at the moment, so it's making it worse. But it is a gift for someone, and it is her color for sure. In fact, when my teenage daughter came into the room and saw it finished, I said, "Who do you think that's for?" And instantly she said the person's name who it's for. So I'm like, yes. I got the aesthetic. Okay, let's talk about this yarn. I think I'm going to take it off though. So I'm going to let you see the whole thing. If I didn't, okay. If I didn't know that it was supposed to have merino in it, I wouldn't know. I would have thought I was working with like a Caron cake. It feels really acrylic-y. It may have a bit more bounce. Like that could be true. Like it could have that nice bounce, squish bounce that you get from wool. But it felt like working with acrylic and not a nice quality acrylic. It was grabby with my hook. It was grabby. I use pretty much exclusively Susan Bates soft grip hooks. So these are metal hooks. They're super smooth. They're inline. And you know that sound that you get with certain kinds of acrylic, especially if you're using a plastic hook, that squeak? I was getting that squeak. I was getting the plastic on plastic squeak with this yarn. I was shocked. And the finished fabric is not nearly as soft as this yarn felt when it was caked up. Like I would have pet this yarn when it was in the cake, and it's not scratchy, or I'm not saying it wouldn't be okay on your neck or that. But it's just not as soft as it was in the cake, which surprised me because usually I find it's the opposite way, like in a cake or a skein or a hank or whatever form it comes in. I'll think, I don't know. And then when I start to work it into a fabric, I'm like, oh, okay, I see you. This was the opposite. It's split. It's snagged. I know people love this yarn. And especially the other flowers, like the flowers alpaca, I know is some people's absolute favorite. And I have a skein of that. I will get to it. I have a skein of a lot of stuff. So it's on the list. I'll get to it. But actually, my experience with this is moving that further up. When I bought this, it was not with the intention of doing a review. Because it's pretty popular, people have been using it for a long time. I didn't really feel like I was going to want to say anything. I was really just disappointed. I was really disappointed. It also works up a little thicker and clunkier than, now the camera is doing it more than justice. That's not fair. Camera, I think it is making it look crisper than it actually looks in person. Like, yes, it is. I mean, these stitches in person are just puffier, and I just feel like the stitch definition on them is not so great. But when I hold it up to you, they like when I look there at you, hi, um, it's so much clearer and nicer than, like when I hold it further away, you see, this is a little bit more what it looks like in person to me. You know, when there's a big hole, okay, that's clear. The lace work there is still clear, but like my individual doubles, they're just a little less, they're more a mass than individual stitches, which is kind of what it looks like, I think, when I hold it back here. But when I hold it up to you, it's like, oh, individuals. So, what do I think? The one thing I will say is I color controlled just a little bit when I came to this very last round of single crochets. When I started the round, I cut this variegated part off. So I cut this much out just so that I could have the final solid color as the overall border. And I played major yarn chicken with it. So if you were doing, you know, a big shawl, a big triangle shawl, one, you would definitely need 2 balls, because this and the 2, no, I took the 2 washer samples, I think, the 3 washing samples off of this, I think. But that's it. So you would not get the full border around a large triangle shawl without sort of color controlling. So if you had 2 balls and you took the solid off of the first ball, it's just sort of depending on how you wanted to work it. But you would need to sort of plan ahead. Plan ahead if you want to have, you know, the border be all one color. And that was the other thing I wanted to say about that. Sorry, I'm not feeling well. And I just keep looking down, and the washer and dryer test went fine. Kind of what I expected from a superwash and mostly acrylic yarn. Again, if I was going based on that, I would just assume that it was 100% acrylic. And so I don't know. I'm trying, because my expectations were high and they were really not met, I am trying not to be overly critical. But I just hadn't heard from others this sort of reality of the yarn, and I was left unimpressed. I will not buy it again. I was tempted to give it a very low grade, but I think that's because I had high expectations and they weren't met. I think it probably is just an average yarn. Like, nothing special. That's how I feel about it. I felt like nothing special here. And if you're going to add wool in, I feel like it's got to add something to it. Like, it's still a predominantly acrylic yarn. So if you're going to add wool in, it needs to enhance the product, because I mean, so many people can't handle the wool. And, you know, when you say it's merino, I'm expecting a certain kind of wool, you know, and those qualities. And I'm just not feeling it. there are acrylics that I would rather use to this. So I'm gonna land on a C. I'm gonna say this is just a completely average yarn. It's just a completely average yarn, and you know, if they've got colorways or that you love, sure, go for it. For me, for the price, I'll buy something else. I'll buy something else where I might like the colors a little more, or I get more meterage for my money. I'll buy something softer. So I'm going to give it a C. And that's, yeah, those are my thoughts. As surprising as it is, I really expected good things from Yarn Art Flowers Merino. I think a cake, I'm looking at them, sorry. A cake of sort of each of the various kinds of Yarn Art flowers. And I'm less enthusiastic about using them after this experience, if that tells you anything, okay? Even though, like, I'm looking at the Yarn Art Flowers Alpaca, and alpaca is my absolute favorite fiber. It feels amazing in the cake. I know it's some people's absolute favorite yarn. I'm less excited to try it. So that's my experience. If you love this yarn, tell me, and maybe tell me why, what it is that you love about it. I'm at a loss. So now it's time for the YouTube commercial. If you liked this video, please like it. If you found it helpful, please like it. If you want to like take issue with anything I said, shoot it down in the comments. You wouldn't be the first. And you know, what floats somebody's boat doesn't always float somebody else's. And this one sunk mine. No, it wasn't that bad. Like, I don't want to, it's just average. Just average. And I had high expectations of average. I don't even know what I was saying. Please do all that YouTube stuff. It helps me and hopefully lets me keep coming and sharing this stuff with you. So I hope I will see you on Wednesday and Friday and next Monday and all the ones after that. In the meantime, friends, happy stitching.